Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a volunteer with the Alabama Coastal Foundation, and I'd like to introduce you to some of my friends. Hannah, the blue heron, Gary, the gopher tortoise, Bella the dolphin, Speck the spotted sea trout, and Jeffrey the oyster. We're here today to ask for your help. We would like for each of you to become a Bay Buddy. That means we want you to help keep the place where we live safe and clean. But first, there are some things you need to learn about the place where we live. I work with the Alabama Coastal Foundation, and our mission is to protect and improve Alabama's coastal environment through cooperation, education, and participation. That means we teach people about our coastal environment so that we can work together to keep it safe. First, we need to learn about the environment where our friends live. Do you know what an environment is? An environment is everything surrounding us, and that includes plants and animals. Look at the pictures. What are some of the things found in these environments? Do you see the bird, the reeds, trees, sky, students sitting in a classroom? There are different kinds of environments. There are indoor environments and outdoor environments, where school and classrooms are examples of an indoor environment. The picture on the right with the trees next to the water is an example of an outdoor environment. There are also healthy and unhealthy environments. What is the difference between these two environments? Do you know the difference? Well, one of these environments is clean and safe and the other is not. Imagine you were a bird or a fish. Which environment would you like to live in? Certainly you would choose the healthy environment on the left. Let's take a closer look at where some of our friends live. We're going to find out whether the environment they live in is healthy or unhealthy. We live in a special kind of environment called a coastal environment. That means we live close to the water. You may not live close enough to the water to see it, but there is water close to where you live. Our state, Alabama, has thousands of miles of streams and rivers. These rivers and streams, as well as their coastlines, are home to many different types of plants and animals. The waterways in our state have more different types of living things than any state in the United States. Unfortunately, this picture shows something else that is often found in a coastal environment like ours. This picture shows trash found along Dog River after a heavy rain. What kinds of things do you see? See cups, see plastic, styrofoam. Does this look like a healthy place for our animal friends to live in? Does this look like a place that you would want to visit? No, of course not. But most of this trash did not come from the people who live on the river. The people who live on the river want to keep it safe and clean. So where did it come from? To find out, we need to learn more about where we live. We know that it rains a lot where we live. Rain is part of the water cycle. Let's take a look at the 3 basic steps in the water cycle. The first step we're going to look at is precipitation. Precipitation means rain or snow or sleet. When it rains or snows, some of that precipitation falls in the ground, where it soaks into the ground and is absorbed by plants. Some of the rain falls on hard surfaces like sidewalks and streets. Water will not soak into these hard surfaces, so puddles will form. Evaporation is the second step. Evaporation happens when the sun heats water on the ground and causes it to change from its liquid form into a vapor, which rises into the sky and forms clouds. Think about a wet sponge or cloth. If you leave it on the counter, eventually it will dry out. This is caused by evaporation. Condensation is the third step. Condensation happens when water that has evaporated and turned into a vapor collects and turns back into liquid water, or ice. An example of condensation is when you have an ice drink in a cup or glass on a warm day, and after a few minutes, the outside of the cup or glass becomes wet. It's this process of condensation that forms clouds in the sky. But when the clouds become too heavy, it starts to rain. And this is called precipitation. When water goes through these three steps, precipitation to evaporation to condensation and then back to precipitation again, this is called the water cycle, and it happens over and over again. Look at these pictures and think about where water goes when it rains. Some of the rain that falls soaks into the ground and is soaked up by plants. Sometimes it falls on places where it can't get soaked in, like in streets, on sidewalks, so it flows into drains and waterways. This water is called storm water runoff. When there is a lot of rain in a short period of time, it may not be able to drain quickly enough, causing flooding. Water carries litter that's left on the ground with it when it flows into our waterways and drains. This is a picture of a watershed. A watershed is an area of land where all the water that falls or drains into it flows into a common area. In this picture, the area surrounded by the yellow dotted line leads down to the large area of water at the bottom of the picture. No matter where the rain falls, it eventually all drains to the same body of water. It might flow through storm drains or through creeks and streams first, or it might be washed directly into the large body of water. In our area, all the water drains into Mobile Bay and the Gulf of Mexico. This is a picture of how water drains in our state. Rain that falls all over the state and parts of Mississippi and Georgia eventually drains into Mobile Bay and the Gulf of Mexico. Just as in the pictures we just saw, the water carries trash and other types of pollution with it when it flows. So, if you drop a Snickers wrapper on the sidewalk after school and it rains the next day, if nobody picks it up, where would the Snickers wrapper end up? That's right, eventually it could end up in Mobile Bay. Do you remember this picture from Dog River? How do you think all this trash ended up there? This map shows the Dog River watershed. The trash found in and around the river could have come from anywhere in this area. People in this watershed might have forgotten to pick up trash they dropped on the ground. Or possibly a garbage can was accidentally turned over. It might have seemed like just a little problem then, but as it flows through the watershed, combining with other trash along the way, it becomes a big problem. Littering is a big problem. When trash is left on the ground, it can be carried a long way. So what can we do to help? Cigarette butts are one of the most littered items. They might be small, but when they're dropped onto the ground, they cause big problems. Paper products, such as plates, cups, cardboard boxes, they're also a problem. Of course, plastic is also a big problem. One plastic bottle can take up to 450 years to break down. Food wrappers, plastic bags, and straws can make the environment unsafe for animals. A lot of the trash dumped on land eventually can be found in our oceans. It's estimated that over 1 billion pounds of litter end up in the ocean each year. Sea plants and animals can be surrounded by trash. Birds, fish, and other animals often mistake trash as their food. Each year, about 1 million seabirds and 100,000 marine animals die after eating litter or becoming entangled in it. There are many types of birds in our area. These birds are adapted to live in a coastal environment. They have special physical features that allow them to live near water. You remember our friend Hannah, the blue heron? She wants to help keep the environment she lives in healthy, safe, and clean. Let's learn more about Hannah and some of her friends. There are several types of herons in our area. The little blue heron has a blue body and wings, a purplish head and neck, though when they are young they're mostly white. When fully grown, they're about 2 feet tall. Little blue herons live near water and eat mostly fish and other small creatures. Their long, sharp bill is used to probe for and grasp their food. The great blue heron can be found where there is shallow water and fish. They eat a variety of fish, salamanders, snakes, and other small creatures. An adult great blue heron can grow to be almost 4 feet tall. These birds are mostly gray and have a white head with a black streak over their eyes. The heron's long legs and long necks allow them to wade into shallow waters and search for their food. Their long, pointed beaks make it easier for them to catch and sometimes spear their prey. Another bird commonly seen in our area is the brown pelican. They live mostly around shallow waters along saltwater coastlines. Their nests are built on the ground or in low trees. The brown pelicans diet mostly on fish, which they catch by diving headfirst into the water, then scooping up the fish and trapping them in their large pouch. They tilt their head to drain the water from their bill, and then tilt their head back to swallow their catch. Special glands allow these birds to drink small amounts of salt water. Another type of bird common in our area is the osprey. Some people call them fish eagles or fish hawks. Osprey like to eat fish. Like other birds of prey, they have sharp claws and a hooked beak to help them handle the fish they catch. The osprey has a special feature, a reversible toe, which allows it to pick up its prey with 2 toes in front and 2 toes behind. They will dive into the water to catch the fish. Special pads on their feet help them to pick up and hold onto the slippery fish from the water. At one time, osprey were almost extinct. That means there were not many of them left. This was partly caused by chemicals that people use to kill bugs and other pests. Since we have stopped using these chemicals, the number of osprey has been increasing. Because there are more osprey, they need more places to build nests. These birds like to build their nests in high places. The Alabama Coastal Foundation is working with others in our community to build platforms that provide a safe place for osprey to build their nests. This is a picture of an osprey nest platform that the Alabama Coastal Foundation set up on Dauphin Island. This is a family of osprey in a nest they built in one of the platforms. We want to make sure that the nests are in a healthy environment. This is what the inside of one osprey nest looked like. Does this look healthy to you? No. There is trash in the nest that doesn't belong. When osprey build nests, they look for items on the ground, and sometimes they mistake trash for items like twigs and leaves. Some birds might mistake trash for food. Eating trash can be very harmful to them. How do you think some of the trash ended up in or near the osprey nest? People might have dropped trash in areas far away from the nest. When it rained, the water carried the trash to nearby drains or waterways, where it eventually flowed into larger bodies of water like Mobile Bay. Now that we have a better understanding of how the osprey's environment became unhealthy, we need to figure out how to fix the problem. Hannah tells us that littering is not cool, so picking up our own trash is one way that we can help. Recycling, or changing things in a way that they can be reused, is one way to help keep our environment healthy. Here are some things you can recycle. Paper and cardboard boxes can go through a process that changes them into new paper items. You can help by making sure that paper and cardboard boxes are taken to a recycling center. You can also help by purchasing new items that are made from recycled paper. Did you know that you can recycle cooking oil? You can put it in a container and take it to a recycling center. Another way to reduce trash is to reduce the amount of materials we use. That means use less things. Look at these pictures and think about something you use a lot of. For example, you could reduce the amount of water you use when you brush your teeth. While you're brushing your teeth, simply turn the tap off, and when you're ready to rinse, turn it on and turn it off again. It's simple. And now, you're ready to take the Bay Buddy Pledge. Repeat after me. Put litter in its place. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Always do the right thing. Teach others what you learn. Congratulations, you're a Bay Buddy.